What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Our first two questions this week are about Snoke and how much power he may or may not have. And the first one is from Zefrax Baikarov, who wants to know if he foresaw the destruction of Starkiller Base, because he is surprisingly chill when the Resistance blows it up. And you're right, he does take it very much in stride. I don't know if he had the foresight, only because that's a very gray area in Star Wars. We don't really know how it works, and always in motion the future is, so maybe he had an inkling, or maybe he did straight up know, but I more get the impression that he just straight up didn't care about Starkiller Base. I mean, it's Hux that seems to be its champion. He's like, the weapon's ready, let's use it, and he's like, okay, use it. But when it's destroyed, I think he thinks along the lines of Vader, in that a planet-killing super weapon is insignificant next to the power of the Force. I do think Snoke is probably very powerful, and so when he lost it, it was probably like, whatever, that wasn't my project anyway, that was Hux's thing. That's just the way I'm interpreting it, because when we see him really get mad, it's about Luke. I think he's more about finding and killing Luke, or at the very least, keeping the Resistance from finding him. I think he's more concerned about keeping the Jedi from returning. Our second question comes from Eric Faraz, who asks if Snoke really is all that powerful, because in The Force Awakens, when we first see him, and it's revealed that he is actually a hologram in that scene, it's a very Wizard of Oz, like man behind the curtain moment. I do see what you're saying, but I don't think that's what that scene is alluding to. Mostly because I think that still the best Snoke theory is the one that's been hinted at in the Aftermath books. I just think he is an immensely powerful being from the unknown regions. I think he's a new character, and yeah, I think he is crazy strong. Mostly because I don't think the First Order would fall in line behind him if he didn't have power. And I don't think Ben Solo would have fallen to the dark side if Snoke didn't give him some example of how powerful he could be if he followed the dark side of the Force. So that's more what I'm thinking. I just don't see those people teaming up with him if he didn't have something substantial to back up his claims of power. Woody Carlyle asks if Vader ever upgraded his suit. I mean, that makes sense because he was a mechanic in his previous life after all. And actually, in the latest Darth Vader comic, we see exactly that. He is beaten pretty badly. He wins a fight, but he takes some pretty significant damage. And so he is in a bacta tank, and he uses the Force to fix and upgrade his suit after good old Sheev Palpatine gives him permission to do exactly that. Mark Zebro Jr. wants to know why all of the clone troopers went along with Order 66 when only the clone commanders received that holographic message from Palpatine. I've talked about this before, but I think that the holographic message is more just a plot device for the audience. I don't think that, obviously it went out, but I think that's supposed to be more of a visual representation of the inhibitor chips activating, because that's a very difficult thing to visually convey on screen. That all of a sudden, the clones have inhibitor chips and these are all going off, and now all of a sudden they're following this program to kill the Jedi. That's a lot to deliver in a short amount of time, so I think you just get the holographic message, and that is kind of to symbolize the activation of Order 66. And I think, I probably, something that would have been a lot dumber on screen, but that still would have worked, is Palpatine goes over and flicks a light switch that says Order 66, and all the clones know what to do. I think it's the basic same idea, but a holographic message works better because the light switch would have been really dumb. But that's at least the way I interpret all that. Kai Thatch asks if Leia could rightfully lay claim to the throne of Naboo, considering she is the daughter of the former queen. Key phrase there is former queen. While there are kings and queens that lead Naboo, it's not a monarchy. It's still a democracy. They just call their leaders kings or queens instead of president. So the throne isn't inherited. It has to be earned by vote. That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon, where I left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained goodies like monthly giveaways and audio commentaries for the films, and the combined donations really go a long way in helping support the channel. Also, I just need to give a thank you to all of my patrons, especially this month, because if you noticed, I have been streaming Battlefront 2, the beta, quite a bit, and I realized this past Saturday or Sunday that my old computer just straight up couldn't handle the game. So I scrambled to build a brand new PC that could play the game and stream it, because I really want to get into streaming more. I want all of you to be able to interact with me on a weekly basis. So when the new Battlefront is completely released, I'm hopefully going to have a really cool overlay and a bunch of new features and a Discord server. I'm working towards getting all that set up. But basically what I want to say is, especially this week, that would not have been possible if it weren't for my patrons. I wouldn't have been able to get a PC together, and I would not have been able to stream this game for you guys. So thank you to all of my patrons, and thank you to all my subscribers and everyone who just straight up supports this channel. Thank you. On to YouTube questions. Mitwit Gaming asks what I think about The Last Jedi being the longest Star Wars film to date. Honestly, I'm not reading too much into that. I'm not trying to dissect it and find out what it means, because I just try to stay away from that stuff. I like to go in having seen the trailers and TV spots, but otherwise, I don't look up leaks or theories or really any of that stuff. I just want to experience it the way the storytellers want me to experience it. But I will say that I am very excited that it's that long. I mean, there are some movies that I don't want to be in the theater for that long, but if it's Star Wars, yeah, make it a 4-hour movie. I don't care. I'll be so excited. So yeah, 2.5 hours or so, I'm there, and I am very pumped. Umbrella Man wants to know what I would think of a Tag and Bink animated series. I think that would be a lot of fun, but I don't think it could be canon because just the way the old Legends stories were. And if it's not going to be canon, I don't think it would ever happen. Most of the Star Wars general audience, they don't know really the difference between canon and Legends. They don't really read the books. They don't know what Legends is or was. I think most people that subscribe to this channel do, and you would be able to separate that. But I don't know that the general audience could, so I don't see Lucasfilm ever putting anything like that out. Liam O asks what I think of Kylo Ren's yellow eyes, which have apparently been popping up in some merchandising surrounding The Last Jedi. I mean, I just think that means he's going to go really deep into the dark side. That's what the yellow eyes mean. When someone is just full of the dark side of the Force, they get yellow eyes. A lot of people, I think, equate that to immediately be a Sith thing. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's just a dark side thing more than anything else. So what do I think that means for the film? I just imagine that he is not going to be redeemed anytime soon, at least not in episode 8, maybe in episode 9. I don't know that I want to see another redemption story because of the original trilogy. I'm just happy to watch it unfold and all, but I just don't see him, at least anytime soon, coming back to the light side. Stir wants to know if I think Finn will ever find out who his family is. I don't really think so. I don't think Finn cares. I don't think that's what his character arc is about at all. I don't think that's the story that this trilogy is telling. I mean, I think that the whole family issue is being told by Rey's story about how she dealt with losing a family and how she is dealing with kind of gaining new family members. This last answer is going to have some spoilers for the book Phasma, so if you haven't read that yet and you want to, just turn this video off now. But Samuel Walber wants to know if DJ, Benicio del Toro's character in The Last Jedi, could be Captain Cardinal from the book Phasma. I think it's possible, but unlikely. To me, the character of Captain Cardinal was... yes, he is in the First Order, which are the bad guys, but he was a noble member and an honorable one. He also hates the Resistance, or at least the last time we saw him, he was laughing at the prospect of joining them. I don't think he necessarily wants to help them, which DJ apparently will be, but they also say, he's a shifty character, not to trust him. I just don't see Cardinal going the route of becoming a slicer and like a well-known one. I think DJ is going to be his own character. That's all the time I have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.